Hey y'all, today we're looking at matrix multiplication by hand. So if I ask you to multiply matrix A times matrix B, the first thing you're going to do is tell me the size of matrix A, the dimension. Matrix A is 2 by 3 times matrix B is 3 by 2. And then you're going to make sure these two match, and they do, so that means it's possible to multiply matrix A times matrix B. And then these out here tell you what size your answer will be. So it's not only possible, but my answer will be a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so I'm going to draw myself a 2 by 2 matrix with elements in it. So 2 rows, 2 columns with elements in it. And I want to give the location of these elements. So this element is in the location of row 1, column 1. This element is in the location of row 1, column 2. This matrix is in the location of row 2, column 1. This matrix is in the location of row 2, column 2. That's going to help me see what to multiply together to get my answer. So I have 4 elements within my answer matrix. Okay, so I'm going to draw 4 spaces. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and start to multiply. So this tells me exactly what to multiply. Remember, it's row by column. So I'm going to take row 1 of matrix A and column 1 of matrix B. So row 1 of matrix A, column 1 of matrix B. Okay, so I'm going to take 0 times 5, 0, plus 1 times 2, 2, plus negative 2 times negative 3, which is 6. Okay, and then I'm going to take row 1 of A times column 2 of B. Okay, so 0 times 0, which is 0, 1 times 1, which is 1, and then negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Okay, and then I'm going to take row 2 of A times column 1 of B. So 3 times 5, which is 15, negative 1 times 2, which is negative 2, and then 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. All right, and then last but not least, row 2 of matrix A times column 2 of matrix B. So 0 times 3, which is 0, negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1, and then 4 times 2, which is 8. Okay, and so that tells me what my answer will be. So this would be 8, this would be 1, this would be negative 3, and this would be 7. Okay, and that's my answer. All right, let's practice another one because I know it is very, I guess tedious is the best word, so there's a lot of steps to follow and order to follow, so let's make sure we've got it. So number 2, B times C. So matrix B is a 3 by 2, and matrix C is a 2 by 2. So this right here tells me it's possible, okay, and this right here tells me what size my answer will be. So it is possible, and my answer will be a 3 by 2, okay? That tells me it's possible, that tells me what size my answer will be. So I'm going to draw myself a 3 by 2 matrix, 3 rows with 2 columns, right, and put my little elements inside. My E, because I don't know what goes there, but I know there's going to be an element here, 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 here. Okay, and I'm going to give their location. So this element is in the location of row 1, column 1. This one is in row 1, column 2. This one is in row 2, column 1. This one is in row 2, column 2. This one is in row 3, column 1. This one is in row 3, column 2. Okay, so now I've named my elements. So now that helps me see what to multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my blanks. I know I'm going to have something here, something here, something here, something here, something here, something here. Okay, that hopefully will help you see. So I'm going to take, remember, row by column, row 1 of B, column 1 of C. So row 1 of B, column 1 of C. Okay, I'm going to multiply. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, and then 0 times 4 is 0. And then I'm going to take row 1 of B, column 2 of C. So 5 times negative 3, negative 15, and then 0 times 0, 0. Okay, so next, I've got row 2 of B, column 1 of C. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and then 1 times 4 is 4. Okay, row 2 of B, column 2 of C. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, 1 times 0 is 0. Okay, last but not least, we're talking about my row 3 of B and column 1 of C. So negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. And then row 3 of B, but yet column 2 of C. So negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and then 2 times 0 is 0. So my final answer is going to be negative 5, 2, 11, negative 15, negative 6, and positive 9. That's my answer. Okay, it only really gets more complicated if the matrices get bigger, but also if, like you probably have seen or are seeing on your assignment, if the matrices are kind of out of order when you see them. So let me show you what I mean. So here I'm asking you to do D times C. Not C times D, but D times C. So matrix D is a 3 by 2 times matrix C is a 2 by 2. Okay, so yes, it's possible, and my answer, so possible, and my answer is a 3 by 2. So we're familiar with that, we just did that. Okay, so E, 3 rows, 2 columns. This is in row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2, row 3, column 1, row 3, column, I did that, done that before, row 3, column 2, okay? So that's my placement, but now remember, order is very, very important. So this means row, column. Row 1 of D, column 1 of C. So make sure you're taking the rows of D and yet the columns of C. So column 1 of C. So that's what I'm going to multiply together. So negative 1 times 2, oops, I better make my little blanks here. So I got a blank here, a blank here, a blank here, 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 and we're good. Okay, so negative 1 times 2, which is negative 2, and then 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4. Okay, and then this means row 1 of D, but yet column 2 of C, so that guy. So negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6, and 0 times negative 1, which is 0. And then we're talking about row 2 of D, but column 1 of C. Okay, so row 2 of D, column 1 of C. So negative 1 times 0, which is 0, 4 times 3, which is 12. And then row 2 of D, but column 2 of C. So negative 3 times 0 is 0, and 0 times 3 is also 0. Last but not least, row 3 of D and column 1 of C. So negative 1 times 4, which is negative 4, and then 4 times 5, which is 20. And then last but not least, row 3 of D, but yet column 2 of C. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, and 0 times 5 is 0. So my final answer for this one is negative 6, 12, 16, negative 6, 0, and negative 12. All right, so I hope you feel more confident with matrix multiplication by hand. What I urge you to do now is practice number 4 on your own. Okay, kind of a little challenge problem here. So do C times A. Again, that's kind of a backwards one, so you really have to think about it. So I want you to pause the video, practice C times A. I'll come back on and give you the answer. Okay, so hopefully you have paused the video. You have worked through this problem. If you haven't, make sure you do, okay, because I'm about to show the answer and I don't want you to cheat. I want you to actually try this on your own. So here it comes. I'm going to reveal the answer for C times A. There it is. I hope you got it right. I hope you are understanding. I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day.